As I walked out of the room, I firmly reminded them I didn't want to see them until morning. 5 minutes later, they'd come out. Welcome to the Connect Method Parenting Podcast, where correction is out, connection is in, and your kids want to listen to you. I'm Andy Martineau, creator of Connect Method Parenting, here to help you stay calm, confident, and connected no matter what. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you and to be sharing another chapter from my book today at CMP Book Club Thursday. Every Thursday for 15 weeks in a row, I'm reading you a chapter from my book, Connect Method Parenting. I love sharing it with you all chapter by chapter. And if you want to follow along with the hard copy, you're always welcome to go grab that on Amazon. But if you prefer audiobooks, just keep popping back in here every Thursday and I'll read you another chapter of my book 1 week at a time. Also, I don't know if you heard, but I created a companion workbook to go along with the book. So you can download your very own copy of the companion workbook at cmp.works/CWB. I've included that link in the show notes. And you can use that workbook to help you implement all of the things we talk about each week in the chapter that I share with you. If you want to start back at the beginning, if you're catching this midstream and you haven't started with chapter 1, you can catch chapter 1 starting in episode 32. All right, I'm excited about today's chapter. Let's do it. Chapter 16, Bridge. Instead of saying goodbye, say, I'll see you soon. Bridge, verb. Watching for any hint of separation in your relationships and finding ways to keep the relationship strong and connected no matter what. Building a bridge of connection is especially important after you set limits. Set, then bridge. When you bridge, you are keeping the relationship strong instead of letting the mess up weaken the relationship. Every time you set a limit, follow it up with a healthy dose of bridging. Bridging is a term I learned from Dr. Gordon Neufeld. If you don't bridge, your child may be unsure about their relationship with you. They may feel disconnected or judged by you. This could cause your child to feel self-doubt, shame, guilt, or even fear. Bridging makes sure your kiddos know that your relationship is strong and hasn't been impacted by their behavior. You don't always have to bridge out loud. Sometimes a wink, high five, smile, thumbs up, or fist bump is enough to let them know you are still on their team, love them, and they're on good terms with them. It can work just as well as words. These simple gestures remind them that you still think they're great and believe in them. Instead of saying, well, I hope you learned your lesson, or you'd better get your act together and not do that again, or I'm going to be watching you, which will all exacerbate the core issue, reassure them everything is okay and let them know you want to do something with them later. It might sound something like this. I know this might be hard for you. I get that 100%. I also bet you're mad at me right now. We just can't do that sort of thing, so I need to. You'd fill in the blank with the limit you needed to set, but I can't wait until we get to hang out after dinner tonight and play that game you've been telling me about. Bridging like this creates room for growth for the relationship and for the individual. In essence, when you're bridging, you're saying, hey, it's okay, you're human. Humans sometimes mess up. It's totally normal to feel emotional. I mess up too. You are great. I believe in you. I love you no matter what. This kind of response creates a bridge from the off-track behavior back to a strong relationship, reassuring the child that nothing is wrong with them. Bridging provides room for sustained connection, which leads to you having more impact and influence in your child's life. Offering connection, no matter what your child is doing, creates an environment where your children trust you and feel safe, seen. And as I walked out of the room, I firmly reminded them I didn't want to see them until morning. 5 minutes later, they'd come out and heard. One way. Bridging means you show an increased connection towards your child, especially in situations that could feel disconnecting, such as when you need to set a limit or tell your child no. You offer it to your child without expecting your child to reciprocate that love or acceptance back. How? By saying something about the next time you'll spend time together. For example, I can't wait to play Legos with you after dinner, or I was thinking that we could go on a bike ride in 30 minutes. I'd love to spend some time with you. When you do this, you are accepting them exactly as they are right now in this moment. I used to think bridging had to be two ways. I thought it looked like me extending acceptance, love, and understanding towards my child, and then them returning all those things to me. Once they returned those lovely feelings back, then a strong, healthy relationship could be formed. But that meant I could only feel connected with my kids when they wanted to feel connected to me, and I wasn't okay with that. Why? Because I want to feel close and connected to my kids all of the time, and sometimes my kids don't want to feel close or connected to me. They are stressed out about school, sad about what a friend said, mad because I told them they needed to clean their room, tired, or one of a million other things. Thank goodness connection and bridging don't rely on anyone but you. If you're having a hard time believing me, think about those teenagers who feel connected to a movie star they've never met. That's not two-way connection. Feeling connected and close is possible even when the other person doesn't even know you exist. Your feeling of connection and closeness to your child is independent of their feeling of connection and closeness to you. Bedtime separation. With 6 kids in 8 years, bedtime brought out the worst in me. By the end of the day, I was exhausted. I approached every night with dread, hoping it would go better than last night. It never did. I'd white-knuckle it as I read the kids a story, determined to get a story in every night. I'd heard that reading to them would make them smarter. I snapped at anyone who made noise. I wanted to get them to bed so I could have some alone time, but I knew that wouldn't happen. As I walked out of the room, I firmly reminded them I didn't want to see them until morning. 5 minutes later, they'd come out. What was I missing? Why were they struggling to stay in their room? What I didn't see at the time was that my kids felt a huge separation from me every time I shut the door at night. The final interaction of the day felt scary and permanent to their nervous systems. Help them feel close. Once you notice your kids are feeling separated from you, it's your job to help them feel close to you when you are apart. You can stay close to someone through smell by spraying your perfume on their pillow at night or on a card you've sprayed with your perfume to take with them to school. You can stay close through touch by letting them sleep with a blanket of yours or wearing one of your headbands to school. You can stay close through sound by letting them fall asleep to you reading them a story or leaving a recording of you singing for them to listen to while you're away on a trip. You can stay close through taste by eating the same things for lunch when you're apart. You can stay close through sight by sending a picture of the two of you with them to school or to sleep with at night. These are just some ideas. Brainstorm ideas you think might work for your child and try them out. Your goal is to come up with ways to stay connected when you can't physically be together. Your turn. Take action in 30 minutes or less. If you're new to Connect Method Parenting, I have a great way for you to get started. I created a free course that covers some of the biggest challenges parents are facing and how Connect Method Parenting solves them. In an hour, we're going to talk about why parenting is so hard, how to get your kids to want to listen to you, how to stop yelling and losing your cool, and become that calm, confident, connected parent for good. It's the fastest way to get started using connection as your go-to tool for influencing and impacting your kids. Go to cmp.works/course to get instant access today. Finding separation. Where or how might your child be feeling separated or disconnected from you? Look for off-track behavior as a possible indication that your child is feeling separated. Write down any thoughts or insights as you think about this. Creating the bridge. If you found places where your child might be feeling disconnected, how could you bridge that separation? Listen back to the end of this chapter where I give you examples of using the 5 senses to stay connected. You have everything you need. Spring is here. Unfold your petals. Embrace your bloom. You aren't changing. You are becoming who you were always made to be. John Rodell. We're all going to end this life in the same way. The home I live in is surrounded by mountains, a creek, wildlife, and majestic cliffs. I often wonder how old these trees are, or how many seasons the plants by the creek have been blooming. There are large windows looking out on the nature that surrounds us. It's one of my favorite things about the house. I open the blinds every day so that no matter where I am in the house, I can see the beauty of the outdoors. It gives me perspective. It calms my nervous system. It fills me with peace. The fact that we cannot rush nature forces us to have patience and trust in the passing of time. The tulips I planted 7 years ago still bloom every spring, much to my surprise. I'm not much of a gardener, but I love plants and trees. I think how the trees and plants live on beyond the human who planted them, continuing to grow into something beautiful for everyone to see. One day at a time. As a parent, you try your best to cultivate a garden where your children's goodness can grow and flourish. You can't rush them into maturity or determine when they will bloom. What you can do is continually hone the skill of being a good gardener, learning to be patient through winter, amazed at the spring beauty, enjoy the warmth of summer, and soak in the colors of fall. Every season is amazing. Each day an opportunity to appreciate, nurture, and cultivate your garden a little more. You don't know for sure what your gardening efforts will bring. What you do know is that you can do your best to create a garden where your children can thrive. Whenever life gets heavy, take one day at a time. Nurture your garden today with ways that will bring you closer to your children. Be gentle with yourself. You're doing your best. You can't rush parenting. Spend time thinking about what is working. Take time to play. Don't worry about getting everything right. Trust the seasons. Keep going. Keep exploring. Keep slowing down. Keep giving your kids the benefit of the doubt. Keep your attention and connection focused in the right direction. Keep forgiving. Keep offering love and acceptance when it feels like your kids don't deserve it. Keep believing it's possible to create dreamy relationships with your kids in which they want to listen to you and you want to listen back. Keep doing the verb, connecting, and stop being the noun, the parent. I truly believe your children never want to push your buttons, manipulate you, or test boundaries. They're just trying to figure out the rules of the culture they were born into. I get it. In many ways, I'm trying to do the same thing. Every summer growing up, I spent 2 weeks in the mountains with my family. It would take me a few days before I slowed down and listened long enough to hear the song of the birds, the sound of the wind, and the chipmunks running up the trees. The sounds had been there all along, but I wasn't paying close enough attention to hear them. I think the same is true when we slow down and truly see and hear our children. You begin seeing your children's ongoing desire to be good. You notice, even in their unsuccessful attempts to be kind, their inner greatness remains. Once you slow down and stop trying to change your child's behavior, your ability to see your child's love, compassion, and goodness skyrockets. You notice their courage, their pain, their compassion, and their kindness. You notice their tender spots and their struggles. You notice when one child helps a sibling do his chores. You appreciate the big hug your 2-year-old gives you each morning, and you acknowledge the tremendous help your 10-year-old was with dinner cleanup. Your child's loving kindness has been there all along, but now you see it because your sensitivity to it has increased. Ciao, au revoir, see you later. And that's a wrap, as they say in show business. Or, so I've been told that's what they say. My intent was to spark a parenting renaissance within you, and by now that spark, I'm sure, has caught on fire and is lighting you up. It takes a courageous human to go within and parent from a place of connection, not correction, to abandon punishments and rewards. Now the work of implementing Connect Method parenting begins. And just so you know, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be here cheering you on every step of the way. I'll even keep my pom-poms out. Circle back and check in anytime. We aren't here for a long time in the grand scheme of things, so time to get cracking on implementing Connect Method parenting with your kids. Never forget, you already have everything you need inside of you to change your home. Connect Method parenting just cracks open that parenting genius inside of you and helps you see it so you can create exactly what you want. I've sprinkled poems from John Riddell throughout my book. I hope you've enjoyed listening to them. The ones I've shared with his permission have become a sort of anthem for my parenting, saying what I'm feeling. I started the book with one of his poems, and it seems fitting to end with one as well. There's no handbook for any of this. There are no hard and fast rules for times like these. You're doing the best you can, holding things together while the world falls apart. In this age of fear and fret, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be gentle with yourself and everyone else because that's all you can really control, isn't it? Yes, things might unravel a bit more before this is all done. You might as well, and it's okay if you do. While the world is resetting its router, we can take turns deciding who gets to cry on the couch. We can take turns becoming a balm for one another. We can take turns yelling up into the silent sky. We can take turns having insomnia. We can take turns being confessionals for one another. We can take turns brushing the tears off of each other's face. Don't worry about getting all of this right. You won't. Don't worry about making mistakes. You will. You're doing the best you can. There is only one great commandment for enduring a storm, and it's this: go easy, my love. Go easy. John Riddell. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, come check out League, my Connect Method parenting coaching program, where we take this material and we apply it using my proven formula. Head over to cmp.works/join.